Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video it's going to be a bit of a appreciation video, and I'm just going to tell a story of how I actually became a coin dealer. I want to thank everyone for reaching the 1,000 subscriber milestone. It's kind of been a bit of a weight around my ankle for a while. That is the only target I've had in terms of numbers. Beyond that, I'm not actually that bothered about it, to be honest. So yeah, let's get into the video. So you can see before you, I haven't shown these yet. I think I've shown one of them, but I haven't shown the 5 I've had in. I didn't have the capacity to sell them, so I've just had them on my side. So yeah, when I started this channel, I was just kind of flipping coins for beer money. Like, this was a couple of years back, and I was working nights. But the reason I was working nights was because of the predicament I found myself in. So I actually studied a double master's degree up in Newcastle and in the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. And it just didn't really go to plan. I was super burnt out, and I didn't pass the degree in the Netherlands over something that I thought was bullshit, to be frank. Excuse my French. And it was just a really tough point in my life. I'd worked myself into the ground to pay for my degree, and I felt like I had one of them taken away from me. So I should have graduated with a double master's degree in advanced international business management from Newcastle and Groningen. What happened was I graduated with a dual master's degree from Newcastle, which ironically was worth more than the degree in Groningen, although it was salt in the wounds. So yeah, I come back and I was tired anyway, and I had a bit of a bombshell concerning my mother. She was really sick, so she had stage 2 cancer. I didn't really know much about it, as she'd hidden it from me, and it was like, oh shit, not again. So I come home and I was like, I always wanted to go into finance. I wanted to get into investments. Like, growing up, the stock market just fascinated me. I would devour like stock charts from the age of maybe 13, 14. I remember I found a book about a year ago, and I'd written scribbles in it from when I was maybe 17, 18. And it had companies that I thought were good investments. So I thought I'd check them out, and they actually did all right, They weren't bad. I remember one of them was Mondi. It's like a paper and forestry company. And that company, I think it gone up double, if not 150% within the time I'd recorded it, which it's not bad, However, as a youngster, you don't understand that there's more to a company than the share price. They're going to be absolutely crippled by their pension debt. But yeah, I wanted to get into investments, but I wasn't in any place to really explore that. Like, even if what happened with my mother hadn't happened, she's completely fine, by the way. She made a full recovery. But even if it hadn't have happened, it would have been tough. Like, I felt like a vegetable. I was so mentally exhausted from my master's degrees, because that had taken maybe from start to finish. By the time I worked to pay for it, I had to take another year out because I didn't pass it. So 2, 3, probably took me about 4 years from start to finish, and I was just absolutely done. I was exhausted, and I felt like I didn't have anything to give an employee. So I just went back to my job that I worked. It was easy. I could go to work at night and just kind of get myself back together again. And it was tough, but I started trading coins. I got involved within the community and Facebook, and I never meant to be a dealer, and I never meant to make a living out of it. That wasn't my intention when I got involved. I saw people doing it, and I thought I could do it better than that, and I could. So I did. It wasn't meant to be, let's move £50,000 worth of coins in a month, and that's happened. I've had that a couple of times. When it's moving fast, it moves fast. But I felt like I had something to offer this community, and I wasn't at the stage in my life where I felt I could do a full-time job. I wasn't at the stage in my life where I felt like I had the experience to go into a professional job and coast. So I thought, I'll stay at my job. I'll just stay working night shifts at Tesco. And for those of you that don't know, Tesco is a supermarket chain in the UK. It's one of the biggest in the world. Like, I go in, I get my head down, I'll build my reserves, and if the coins kind of go somewhere, that's okay. If it doesn't, I want to go to the city and work in investments. And it just didn't work that way. I got to the point where I was making more money trading coins than I was working at my job, And how do you go work for someone else where I can have days, like on really, really good days, I can make £500. I'm not saying I do that every day. That is so far from the truth. But I can have days where I make £500. How do you go back to work for someone else when that's the case? I kind of realised that I love being involved in the community. I love being involved in the coins. But I need more than to be just a coin dealer. So one of the reasons I'm working hard on this channel is because I've got a big project I want to work on that I feel will add value to this community but isn't directly dealing. So that's in the pipeline. I haven't really touched it for the last 3 months because business has been so crazy and I've had to put myself first in terms of security. But yeah, so if you look at the coins in front, the QBs, this is really what started my career as a coin dealer. So I put out a group order and I just said, I'm getting some coins in for me. Does anyone want on the order? And I think it was about 30 people. It wasn't a lot, but they said you shouldn't work for free. Like, here's a few extra quid for helping with it, because it's still cheaper for us to pay you to get it in, and you can sort out the logistics of it. And I thought, okay, that's cool. I had a supplier abroad, and he was hooking me up with some fantastic coins. So he had stuff like this, and yeah, before I knew it, I was acting as more a market maker than a dealer. The traditional function of a dealer is to buy under spot and sell over spot, but I didn't really have that problem. Like, I had a platform where I could sell to people, and I could leverage the connections that I built up. So I'd say to my supplier, there's 50 people who want a sovereign. What can you do it for? And he doesn't mind coming down. That's a good day's work for him. If he moves 50 sovereigns. There wasn't many occasions where I did 50. Usually it was around the 30 mark. But let's say 30. Like, for 30 sovereigns for him was a good day. If he's paying 5% under and I'm paying him spot, he's more than happy. All I did was I sorted out the logistics and I collected the money. I would charge 3% over, and people were happy with that arrangement. So that kind of happened, and then I kind of hit another part of my life where I struggled again, because I got kicked out of my family home for 20 years. Like, the landlord just, he told us he was selling the house. The reality was we had cheap rent due to the previous landlady, and he kicked us out and replaced us with someone else. Like that hurt my mother more than it hurt me. I was okay with it, but it was the emotional impact on what happened with my family that got to me rather than actually moving. I thought we'd outgrown the house, but you try to tell a woman who's just gone through cancer treatment that she's then losing her house. That was tough. And then not long after that, we lost her sister as well. So we lost her sister to cancer. And I was at that point where coin dealing kind of become my safety net. There was a lot of people who looked out for me. There was a lot of people who had my back and made sure that I was okay. I said to the group, my auntie's just died, I need time. And I was back at work within maybe 6 days, 5, 6 days, and it was a testament to the people that bought from me and the people I dealt with, that I came back so quickly, because I felt like it was an environment for me that was safe. And that was fine. It really gave me, I felt like I could be a giant by standing on other people's shoulders. It gave me the confidence, and it gave me that safety net that I needed to really go out and do some good with these coins, because I see these as investments. I see these as hobbies. I want people to do well. I want people to buy from me and to have a positive reaction from buying from me. I hate when people buy and then they sell 2 weeks later and they make a loss. But that moment in my life, I felt like I could do it. I could do it full time. I could go out and really make a difference. And I think, I can't remember exactly, like, it's a bit of a blur for me, but I think that's when I really try to do it full time, or roughly. There might be a couple months difference, So that happened, and I was like, okay, I'll soon part of this community. I'd set this group up just, and I felt like there was an opportunity for me to go and do some good for the community. Now, that doesn't mean everyone likes me. I have made enemies. There's things I got wrong. There's things I would change. And there's stuff that's happened with other people that I feel I didn't deserve. I've just tried to remove these people from my life. So yeah, I then went travelling. I'd hit a crossroads with what I do. And I was making enough for it to be full time, but I wasn't fulfilled in certain ways. I wasn't sure what I wanted with my life. So I just said to my partner at the time, I was like, let's go travelling. She was like, oh, I'd love to go to Australia. I was like, done, let's go. I didn't even think about it. I think I'd only known her about 10 weeks, maybe 12 weeks. So that's what we did. We went to Australia. I took another friend of mine, and I come back reinvigorated. I'd met loads of dealers, and one of the reasons I wanted to go is I never had an apprenticeship. I've got an academic background, but I never really was taught how to do things. And there's not many coin dealers in the UK. And when I went to Australia, there was coin dealers who were happy to say, maybe if I had an hour at a time, sometimes I was in their shop for 20 minutes, and they'd say, okay, I had 2 dealers invite me behind the scenes. I just said, hey, my name's Sean, I'm a coin dealer, I'm doing a tour. What you got? Tell me what you got. Maybe we can build bridges, And it was really cool. I felt I learnt so much from that experience just by going out there and being kind of on the front line and dealing with people who'd made a real success of their business, And it really meant something to me. I came back full of ideas, I know how to move the business to the next level. I know how to provide more value for the community I serve. And that's what I tried doing. I had a few issues after that. I had a few people in the community try and take me down. They tried to spread false information. They tried to blacken my name, and it really got to me. I was close to quitting, and I just said, bollocks to you, you don't like me because I'm making more money than you. There may be a half truth in that. Maybe that's what I want to believe. But the truth is, I never did anything to these people. I didn't do anything to kind of get to them have their backs up. I've always tried to be open and honest. And I got to the point where instead of trying to be liked by the community, and maybe that's what I needed at the time when I got involved, because I wasn't in a great place, I just said, no, you're wrong. And you can go away. You can go. I'm not going. And since then I've tried to really put out good stuff. I've tried to build YouTube. I'm trying to build a magazine. I've been approached by various people about investments and maybe doing talks. I'm more than open to do that. If I can push the agenda forward, I will do that. I will do it. If people want to meet me and they need advice or information, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can help you in the way I know. You just need to understand that your actions are on you. So yeah, I come back from Australia, and then another issue. I had issues with my other business. It caused a liquidity drain on the coin business, and I kind of needed respite. So I went and worked for some other people just to get my hunger back. I felt like the hunger had gone a little. And working minimum wage jobs, you realise that it sucks. It's shit. It's really shit. So I was like, no, I need to make a success of this. So I kind of pulled my resources. I waited for, like with the pandemic, I bided my time because I knew the prices would rise. I was sitting on a small war chest of stock. I just let other people trade. I let the inexperienced people trade. And I said, that's okay. I've got work. I've got money coming in. I can pay my bills just. But I waited, and then it gave me a position to really trade, to really build up reserves. I'm still worried. I'm still worried about this pandemic. I'm still worried that I'm not going to be able to survive it if there's another lockdown or another 2 lockdowns. But I'm in a far better position now than I was. I've got investments. I've been putting money into mining shares, etc. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into dealing. Like moving forward, I don't want to be a coin dealer forever, but I do want to put out a magazine concerning gold and silver and our investments and our hobby and what we're passionate about. I'm trying to work on the numbers whether I can do it as a free magazine or whether I will charge a token amount. I don't know yet. That's been in the works maybe 6 months. I've had the idea for a long time. The idea has been in my mind for about 2 years. But I feel as a coin dealer, my best days are behind me. I don't particularly want to have an office. I don't particularly want to have a shop. That's not where I want to be at. And I feel that I'm doing myself a disservice, not just as a graduate, but also as an entrepreneur if I only stick with one thing. I never got involved, or I've never really got involved with things just to make money. And whilst the coin business can be quite lucrative at times, it's not what I got involved for. It's not what I want to be about. I want to provide value. I think there's other opportunities in businesses I can build that will provide value, such as the stamp business, which sadly didn't work for reasons I won't get into. But I feel like a magazine, I could push the agenda forward. As someone who is head of a group of 1,200 people, and also someone with a YouTube channel, my drive is giving people value. I want people to come up and do better than me. I want people to push it forward to make the community a better place. And there's nothing wrong with taking money, with making profit. I'll never have a gripe with someone doing that, but it needs to be done in a way that is beneficial to everyone. Now, it has been a long video. It's literally been my life story as a dealer. I hope you've enjoyed it. I want to say a massive thank you to a select few people. So David and Diane Hall being one of them. There's a gentleman called Mr. Gonzalez. He's helped me out a lot. I've often seen him as a mentor. There's various channels I won't get into, but I'm going to have to leave it there because my door's gone, but I will pick this up later. Bye.